19th, 1994, Father's Day. My dad and my grandpa wanted to do something special for my older brother and I, so they ordered a WWF pay-per-view. King of the Ring 1994 was a huge deal to me. This is the very first live WWF pay-per-view that I got to watch. Now backtrack to the 90s and the New Generation era. I absolutely loved and got a kick out of all the crazy and over-the-top gimmicks and characters. But there was one wrestler that I connected to. The Rocket Owen Hart was my guy. His charisma, his athleticism, and I think most importantly, the fact that he was the overlooked younger brother, much like myself, made him my wrestler, my favorite. And on that night in 1994, I got to watch my guy win the King of the Ring tournament.
Did someone say king? The queen must be present when such words are spoken.
Queen Diva Marie, now's not really the time. Don't you have a Rosa Mendez figure to review?
Oh yeah, I better get on that. Well, duckface deuces.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous how her review's gonna go in the future. But you know what? That's not today. And today, I am here to pay tribute to my all-time favorite men's wrestler, Owen Hart. Now, what more lumberjill way to do that than to review a women's wrestling figure? A women's wrestling figure that is designed to represent an Owen Hart Cup tournament win. This Britt Baker looks amazing. It's got me in my feels. It actually gave me goosebumps when I first saw it in hand and everything it represents. So today, I'm reviewing this Britt for you, Owen. I love you and I miss you. Now let's dive into this figure. Alright, so let's start off with this beautiful packaging. Now this might be my favorite action figure packaging of all time. Now I say this time and time again on the channel that I honestly think AEW figures have the best packaging out there. Not only aesthetically, but the quality of it is really, really good. It also is designed very nice. I just think it's amazing. I absolutely love how it looks. But here, because we have that pink for the first time, it really adds to the appeal of it to me personally. And it makes me smile ear to ear. It makes me think of Owen with the pink and black. And also Lumberjillville. You know, it makes me think of Lumberjillville with the pink. So yeah, this packaging is just gorgeous. It's beautiful. It really makes me smile. And this is a figure. Obviously, I'm opening this up today. And I did get this from a friend on Facebook. And these are starting to appear at Targets as we speak. So make sure to stay tuned. You know, check your local Targets. Check for this figure because it should start popping up relatively soon. I'm going to be trying to hunt another one, at least another one to keep MOC in display because I absolutely love how this figure looks. Now, looking closer at it, as I mentioned, we have that pink at the top where on Unrivaled Figures it's gold, Unmatched it's silver. Here we have pink, which is so unique. And it's like a prism metallic type pink. Really hard to explain, but you can see how beautiful it looks from different angles. Her name is in pink here. We have the only at Target at the top since it is a Target exclusive. It's a little sticker. We have this gold sticker on the front. It says PV limited edition. Should say pay-per-view limited edition there. Then we have Britt in the box packaged really nicely holding that Owen Hart Cup belt. Now what's funny is whenever I review this part of my figures, when they're MOC, I have the camera up and angled down a little bit. It gives a nice visual of the package. And here when I do that, you can't really see Britt's face because she's positioned really high up in the package, right? So it's kind of hard to see how good the scan is and whatnot. So I'm real interested to open it up. But yeah, she's positioned a little high in the package. But overall, it looks really good. This would be a beautiful figure to get signed in like a pink paint pen. Maybe a white paint pen or a purple one. I don't know. I need to get another one and get this signed by Britt because this is fantastic. So obviously we have an image of Britt on the front. We have the Double or Nothing AEW pay-per-view logo. We have on the side Dr. Britt Baker. Number 2 in the pay-per-view series. I believe the first pay-per-view exclusive was Bryan Danielson, right? Just let me know in the comments if that's true. And then on the back, we have an image of Britt raising her hand high after she defeated Ruby Riott to win the Owen Hart Cup. So yeah, this packaging is amazing. I really don't want to open it. I mean, I do, but I really want to find this figure to keep MOC. So you know what? We're going to open it here. We're going to do it. Now to open AEW figures, I'm sure someone has found a way to do it safely without completely massacring the box. And I really hate to do it on this one, but basically I'm just going to remove the tape here from all these openings. Okay, good. And I am cutting some of the cardboard while I'm doing it. This might be painful for some people to watch. Okay. And now I have that separated. I'm just going to peel this bubble off and pull the figure out carefully. AEW Jazwares Target exclusive Britt Baker. This attire is from the 2022 Double or Nothing pay-per-view, which took place on May 29th. On this night, Britt would defeat Ruby Soho in the final of the Women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament, making her the inaugural winner of the Women's Owen Hart Cup. Alright, so overall first impressions of this figure. I mean, this figure really makes me smile ear to ear because it's so nice to have this figure that represents such a memorable moment of paying respect to Owen, right? So this Britt Baker's great. I can't wait to take a closer look at it and really break it down piece by piece, part by part, and I am going to compare this Britt to some of her previous figures released by AEW. Now, she does come packaged with a DMD, a right hand pointing down, with black nails, a left open hand with black nails. We also have a right open hand here with black nails, and a left DMD hand with black nails. A little bit of a crooked finger, but we'll deal with it. Now, what really stands out is this Owen Hart Foundation Cup Winner Championship. Now, let's get a good look at this. This title is beautiful. Now, this is given to the winners of the men's and women's Owen Hart Foundation Cup. And Adam Cole got the men's, and here we have the women's, and it's a beautiful title. I mean, this is just awesome. It's really easy to read, actually. We even have the Owen Hart Foundation logo on the top, and as the last side plate on the sides. Now, looking in the center here, we even have a little embossed Owen Hart that looks great, and we have them on each of the side plates, and we have the AEW logo. And then we have this nice pink strap in the back that actually feels like a new style for the title belts. And I say that because I was messing around with it. Now, obviously, we're not used to having this many plates on a title here in wrestling figure form. But y'all, I'm going to be honest. This fastens really easily. It fastens really well, which is not how it was in the past. So I don't know if this is a new mechanism they're going to start using on all their title belts, or because this is just a special, kind of winner championship belt that this is only going to be used for this Owen Hart one. But either way, it's a beautiful belt, and I absolutely love how easily it fastens. So yeah, very cool accessory here. Alright, so after I did this segment, I found out that a little piece came off of the belt that was supposed to be there, and that's this on the end of it. How cool is that? It's a little heart with a crown, and it sits on the end, so when you fasten this championship, it actually looks pretty freaking realistic and looks really, really cool. Now, it is important to note, if you're opening this figure up, be careful, because this part pops off pretty easily, and you can see there's a little hole, and then a rectangular cutout pattern for it to go right back in, and it pops in really easy, but that really does add to this belt. I love this belt even more because it has that little piece on the end. How cool is that? Alright, so this is a brand new face sculpt and scan of Britt, and I actually really like it now. This could have been a huge disaster, and there are probably tons of people out there that aren't big fans of it or that prefer like her Unrivaled 10 sculpt and scan, which I'll show you here in a little bit. But here's what I think they tried to do here. And actually, execution-wise, I think it worked out pretty well. I think with her mouth, the way it looks, how it looks a little weird, I think her tongue is supposed to be, she's kind of biting on her tongue to the right of her mouth, on her right side there. And I think it works. I honestly think it works good. I could see how if the paint is printed on a little bit off, it could look really wonky. But I think it actually does give that aesthetic and that appeal. And that's kind of a hard look to nail here. So I think they did a good job with that emotion, that expression on her face. I mean, it really does look like she's kind of biting down on her tongue there. I think it looks great. Now, the rest of the sculpt is really good. The face scan is really good. I love the dark eyeliner and eyelashes there. The eyebrows look awesome. And this hair sculpt, I believe we've gotten this before, and the hair sculpt works really good for Britt. It looks really, really good. So, yeah, I actually dig this face sculpt and scan. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, but looking at it in front of me, like I said, I think they're trying to give the appearance of her like kind of biting her tongue on her right side of her mouth. And I think it looks great. I absolutely love it. I love how it has some emotion, some expression to it. Alright, so as far as her body sculpt and attire goes, this is a repainted sculpt. So this body sculpt was used on Unrivaled Series 10, and I think it works great. I think it's tremendous. It does a great job of capturing her physique. They also do a real great job with the sculpting of her attire. Now, I will say my biggest complaint is it's not tan enough. Britt is very tan. She's always tan, and her figures don't always depict that. And this one is kind of pale. They really should have given her a better tan, in my opinion. I think that would have really made this figure pop all the more. But yeah, as far as the body sculpt goes, great choice. And as far as the attire goes, let's take a closer look here. So looking at the top, as I mentioned, this was a reused sculpt from her Unrivaled Series 10, and it works really well. There's a lot of intricate sculpting, intricate painting here. Even the straps going across her chest there. Now her paint color scheme is black, pink, and white. Represent kind of honoring the Hart family and Owen. And it looks great. I mean, it looks really cool. I love the design. Moving it around the back, we even have her little tooth logo. And what's really cool is the little tooth logo. Look, it's got a little crown on it. How amazing is that? The King of Hearts, Owen Hart, represented in tooth form there. Now we're looking at the bottoms here. The bottoms are painted very cool, very intricately. I love the design. Once again, with the pink, the black, and the white. We have the Britt Baker logos on the side. Now, moving on down to the knees, this is a little funky. This is where colorblind Aaron kind of has to shake my head a little bit. Like, I'm trying to figure out here. It looks like the knee plastic is different than the leg plastic, and they painted it in a different pink, right? Let me know in the comments. I might be crazy, but it looks like that knee piece here, along with the pins that come through, is like a paler, not really a metallic pink, whereas the paint that they went with on the rest of the knee pad, above and below where it's just painted on the leg, is like a metallic. So that kind of stands out. That's kind of an eyesore. So let me know in the comments if it stands out as much to you. But to me, it really does stand out and look a little bizarre, honestly. But what's cool is we have a little design painted over that simulated knee pad. Going on down to simulate that sleeve, we have that pattern continued there. And then we have her signature boots, which are sculpted. We have DMD on the left boot. And that's actually, let's see if we can actually read it. The role model, Britt Baker, that might be the smallest, tiniest text I've ever seen. I'm maximum zoomed in right now. That might be the smallest readable font I've ever seen on a wrestling figure, y'all. That actually is kind of crazy. I am all the way zoomed in on my iPhone. I don't know if I'm the only one that's that impressed, but that's amazing. And then, let's see over here. Let's see. The role model, Britt Baker, that's amazing. That is some craftsmanship. See, as far as the body sculpt goes, amazing body sculpt. Wish she was a little tanner, but I really do love the pink, black, and white attire. It's just beautiful figure. Oh my goodness. So we're going to do a comparison between some of Britt's previous figures. I do have all of them. Maybe we'll do a figure history down the road of Britt. But here we just have some notable ones. Now it's important to note that I am not a fan of the Supreme Britt. I think the likeness is way off. So that's why I have these in front of me. Now I just wanted to show you how far Jazwares has came in the likeness department for Britt. Here, Unmatched Series 1 released 2021. Britt's first figure. It's pretty terrible looking back at it. I think at the time I liked it, but as you get more Brits released, you compare it to it, you're like, woof, this was not a good figure. Now, where they really missed here is, I think the scan was actually okay, but I think by not giving her heavy eyelashes, eyeliner, eyeshadow, it just doesn't look like Britt very much. And also, this is kind of that generic body that they used for like Brandy at the time for the most part. And yeah, it's not very good. It's not tan enough. It was a fine first figure, and you can actually still probably find this figure at your local Walmart, which is something I hate to say, but yeah, this figure is something, definitely not her best. So I think her two best figures are right here. So on the right, we obviously have that one we're looking at today, that Target exclusive. And on the left, we have one of my favorite women's wrestling figures I've ever reviewed, honestly. It's one of the most underrated. It's Unrivaled Series 10 that was released in 2022. Now, as I mentioned, these body sculpts are exactly the same. You know, the skin tone is a little different. They're both just not tan enough. They're really not. But yeah, that's something I wish both of them were. And the attire sculpts are the same. We just have a different design. You know, on the left, we kind of have that Scott Hall tribute gear, and I absolutely love it. But what really stands out is the different head compared to today's figure. We're going to look closer and see, because when I first reviewed this Unrivaled 10, I could not believe how amazing the likeness was, the head sculpt, the scan, and okay, I still stand by it. That is, in my opinion, it's a near perfect, a flawless sculpt and scan of Britt. I really love how they gave her that color eyeshadow there, and the eyelashes are noticeable. That looks fantastic, and that actually makes today's not look very good. Now, I will say when I was looking at this Britt By itself, I liked what they did here. I really did like it. I thought it was pretty good. I liked how they kind of gave that new emotion scan in Sculpt, where she's kind of biting her tongue, kind of looking arrogant and cocky. She has very thick eyeliner on and eyelashes. But I have to say, when you compare the Sculpts and the scans, I think the clear-cut winner is, in fact, the Unrivaled Series 10. I really do. So if you're looking for the best Britt Baker figure, Unrivaled Series 10 without a doubt. But if you're looking, for the nostalgia of it or what it represents, obviously go out and get that new Target exclusive Britt. But yeah, in my opinion, the best Britt is definitely this Unrivaled Series 10. And Britt's getting to the point where she's almost had enough figures where I could do a figure evolution of Britt Baker figures. So that's something to think of. But yeah, these two are really cool figures. Look really cool next to each other, but I do think Unrivaled 10, that likeness and sculpt is way better than today's. Let me know what you think about today's, because I liked it when it was by itself, but now that I'm looking at next to this, I don't know about that. All right, now as far as articulation goes, we have a lot of head articulation. We have that stupid, unnecessary hinge joint in the neck. I don't care what anyone says, but you really don't need to do that with your figures, y'all. You really don't. It just looks silly, so not a fan of that joint. I'm going to keep complaining about it. On the shoulder, we have kind of a ratchet joint. Feels very stable, moves in all different directions. We have an upper arm swivel. We have double jointed elbows. Looks like she's karate chopping there. The hand can flex down. It can extend. It can rotate. We have that upper torso swivel, which has pretty decent movement. Could be better. We have a waist swivel. Now, the hip is on a ball joint. Can really move in all different directions. Can rotate out. Really has a lot of movement here, honestly. We have an upper thigh swivel there. We have double jointed knees that can really flex because the knee pads are painted on. We also have an upper boot swivel. And then the foot can go down and up and kind of rock side to side. And I will say that this figure is not the easiest to stand. You kind of have to display it right. So good articulation. All right, so this part of the video, I usually give an overall score. I'm not going to do that today. Now, is it Britt's best figure to date? I don't think it is. I think Unrivaled Series 10 is more of a definitive Britt. I love that sculpt and scan. That Scott Hall tribute attire is great. But this figure is also great, all on its own. I think it's almost worth the price of purchase just to get that Owen Hart Cup belt. It is a beautiful belt. There's so much detail in it that we've never gotten in wrestling figure belts before. And I think this figure is worth it just for that. But beyond that, it's such a great tribute to pay honor to Owen by having this figure come out. And I can't say enough good about it. So the one thing I am going to say, instead of giving it a score, I'm going to tell you that I really do advise, if you collect women's wrestling figures, or if you have any sentiment toward Owen Hart, I would go out to your Targets and track this figure down, because it is a beautiful figure and it represents something even more beautiful. Thanks for stopping by Lumberjillville. Women's wrestling lives here. To get a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews, make sure to hit subscribe and become an official resident of LJV today. Now stay tuned, there are a lot of really exciting women's wrestling figure reviews coming, including Main Event Series 150 at WWE Mattel Elita. I'm real excited for that one. Kind of. We'll get there. It's almost a re-release, but we'll see when it comes. Also, we are really close, y'all, to 1 million views in Lumberjillville. And I can't thank y'all enough. I can't say enough. I'll save that for a future video. But yeah, we're almost there. So let's get there. I love y'all. I appreciate you watching, and have a great night, y'all.